funky.
Legends never die.
Right. What is the types of graphics that you got in this game? Like how they look?
Right now it looks like a pencil on a piece of paper.
Like, what's the concept that you trying to do? Like,
I was gonna say.
The tough or you just got a concept. Like, what's the concept? Like, what? Like, you wanted like a certain like abilities or RPG with?
Well,
what are you looking for
okay.
in the game?
So the idea for the game itself is it's gonna be you yourself creating and evolving your own planet. Not so much as you just make a random planet, you know, just go with it and just leave it alone forever. No, the idea behind it is you yourself are going to be playing as I don't want to say a literal god, but in a way, kind of. You're going to be able to pick your own powers from different elemental abilities or different psychic abilities or however we choose to do that. And you're going to be growing and creating this unique planet and making a civilization on it for the entire community. And the civilization is going to be basically heavily functioning on how you, the player, plays the game. So, with you creating your own planet, other people are going to be doing that same thing, obviously. And what's going to happen is other players can attack your planet if they choose to in different game modes, or they can help support your planet and help it grow. And that's going to very heavily weigh on what your planet chooses. So if they know that you've been now blowing up a bunch of planets, they're not going to like you too much, or they might like you depending on their personality trait, and they might either offer to help you or try to overthrow you based on, you know, what's going on.
Okay. That sounds real good. It felt like you making a creation like you got a godly type game where you can pick and choose like what you want to be and what you want to rate.
Kind of in a
planets.
I mean, kind of in a way, yeah. It's going to be heavily based RPG though. You are going to be able to make your own weapons, and whether you want to use weapons or not, you can make swords, bows, arrows, guns, you know, that kind of stuff, you know, whatever you want, just the basic weapons. And you're also going to be able to use elemental weapons, whether it be lightning, fire, psychic, telepathy, invisibility, teleporting, you know, anything like that. And the way that it's going to work is each power, so let's say electricity, because my favorite is obviously electricity is, you know, the only thing in the world I ever do is play as Volt and, you know, shock myself in the bathroom with a toaster. We'll talk about that at a different time. Let's say my favorite is electricity, okay? So electricity is going to have 50 different abilities that you can pick and choose from. You're going to be able to have 8 equipped at a single time. However, you can also put different skill points in other elements. So let's say you want to be electrical and flame just because. Okay, go for it. Now, mind you though, you can only have 8 abilities equipped at a single time. So you can purchase as many abilities as you want using skill points and other stuff like that. However, the game itself is only going to let you ever have 8 equipped. So just because you own them all doesn't mean you can use them all at that time. Make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. That means you're gonna get super busy for that specific moment, but you can purchase them using them different types of modes and stuff.
Well, yeah, kind of. So there's gonna be this is kind of in meh form right now, but there's gonna be to where players can actually choose to attack and destroy your actual planet. Now, this can be seen as either a upside or a downside depending on, because if another player destroys your planet, you'll get a seed of your planet back. So your planet will regrow based on how you made it at the very first day of its creation. However, you will not get the civilizations that you did back. So let's say on my planet I have people called let's say I call them the Thundarians, okay? If you destroy my planet, my Thundarians are gone. They're dead. But I can remake a new civilization and teach them in a different way. Now, if a player destroys your planet, they get a lot of experience and a lot of other stuff. However, since there's only going to be about 50 players on a server at a time, which means I'm gonna need a lot of servers, which means I'm gonna need a lot of server work and a lot of money. But anyway, so since there's only gonna be a couple people on each server, you don't really want to make enemies, because if you do, you're gonna have to deal with that person unless you switch servers, which means you'll be resetting your root somewhere else and replanting your seed somewhere else in a different server. Now this is to help players, you know, if, let's say I buy the game first, okay, and I'm on, I don't know what I'm gonna name the servers, let's just say I'm on Beta Alpha, okay, BA. If you're on Beta Charlie, you and I won't be able to see each other. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna submit a ticket and request to be moved in the next update. So that way you and I can start playing together, and, you know, I mean, you can actually start doing things. That is the best reward I've ever seen in my entire life. Holy crap, dude. That is legendary, man. 10 grok roll. Thank you so much to you. So the way that's gonna work is you're gonna be able to make your own stuff. You're gonna be able to you're gonna be your own specific person, your own specific god. And you're gonna kind of, you know, do your own thing. There's no limitations, there's no real rules. There will be a story mode, but I haven't quite decided how I want to work that. Obviously there has to be a story mode for a game like this, that way people will actually stay interested in, you know. So that way there's something to, you know, show you how to do everything, otherwise it's just gonna be one terrible thing.
But I was wondering,
Okay.
like, let's say that somebody tried to destroy my planet,
Okay.
is there any way that I can get some of my information and record it and save it for like another planet, make my other planet stronger?
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's what I mean. Whenever I say that, yeah. So whenever your planet, let's say you fail to protect your planet because this guy was just way too strong for you and you just wasn't ready to fight him, and he just kills you and your planet entirely, okay? So when your character dies, nothing really happens. You will lose the clothing that you had on and any weapon you had on, but your abilities will stay as a reincarnation for your new character. So you'll still have your skill points and everything like that, but you'll just have to, you know, kind of remake your clothing and weapon. Unless they're nice enough to give that back to you, or they just don't loot it because they don't want it. Now your planet, however, as I mentioned earlier, will have its own unique seed. So from the moment that you save your planet, the very first time you create and save your planet, that's how it will be when you remake it. Unless you choose not to use your old seed, and then you just want to start all over again. So if you choose to use your old seed, you'll get everything back except for the civilization. So you won't get the people and the knowledge they had, or the technology or weaponry they had. However, you will get, you know, your nice luscious green forest, you know, your big old house, you know, your mansion by the water, you know, all that good jazz back. You'll get all that back with no effort whatsoever. But the civilization, the people on them, and structures and stuff like that that they build, that would be something that will be reset. Make sense?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
That's good.
So what else you got?
But what happens once an enemy completely destroys the planet? What do they claim? What kind of reward they get?
Okay, well, they're gonna
What
make
are they
their
benefiting from it?
well, they're gonna be able to make their planet grow bigger, which is also gonna let their character get a little stronger. The bigger your planet is, the more power your character's able to emit. Your planet is your character's life force, pretty much. The bigger your planet is, the stronger power your character himself can actually emit. So let's say you're a new player starting off, people are gonna know because you're gonna have this really small planet. Even if it's the most beautiful planet in the world, if it's small, players are gonna know. Unless you choose to keep your planet small, you can choose to make it big or small. So you'll get 10% of all the resources they have on their planet to help grow yours. So if you have the biggest planet, you'll be deemed the universal god or the universal king. And you'll get unique abilities and stuff like that, so that way other players will have a hard time fighting you, and you'll basically be the overseer of that specific universe. Make sense?
Well, let's say I have one of the most powerful planets.
Okay.
More grenade
I said, I'm gonna call it
Don't let them
tutorial.
harm the drone.
Let's say if I try to help out one of the smaller planets,
Okay.
like, what kind of benefits do I get from helping out like the smaller planet?
Okay, so let's say you and I are tag teaming, okay? Let's say this guy named Roger is trying to blow up my planet. Roger's getting really, really close, and I message you and I'm like, hey dude, I really, really need support. So you come running in top speed, you make quick work of Roger, like you snap your fingers and he's just gone. You obliterate him like he's nothing. Now, the rewards come to me, but I can give you a certain amount of those rewards for your assistance and help since you are in range. So I can offer you anywhere up to between 75% or lower for your work and help out. Now, if we successfully defeat Roger, we get a small portion back, plus some. So let's say our planet's currently at 100% virtue. Our planet, it's perfectly healthy, nothing's wrong with it, whatever. We're gonna now get 5% of Roger's as well. So now I can give you a small percentage. So let's say I get 1 million, seeds for a forest. I can offer you 705,000 as a max. I'm sorry, 750,000 as a max, 75%. And that'll help you grow your planet and me grow mine as well. So because Roger failed on blowing up my planet, I can now make mine stronger and my character, so when he tries to do it again, if he chooses to try to do it again, this time I might be a little bit better prepared for it. And since my civilization will now know that there's other players out there trying to do that, they'll also know to increase their weaponry, civilization skills, talking, and stuff like that. And they might form, unique weapons to protect my planet. So that way, if I'm not able to get there in time, maybe they can hold, the enemy off in time. Maybe they can push back, or, if they're a really weak player, maybe my planet might kill them.
It's not like one to be like a strategy type game.
Kind of. Think of it like planet chess. The biggest planet will win, essentially, unless you only got that big by helping out everybody else and you've never had combat. I could see that being funny. So yeah, the god of our universe is completely passive. He just happens to be nearby. Kind of funny. So what else you got? What other questions you have?
So the new planet
Has put heavy guard around one of their mobile armored vaults.
The new planets will have
As soon as they make
72...
one.
What's inside.
Okay, go ahead.
Move to the waypoint to accept
as soon as they make one and they on the radar,
Okay.
is there any type of like preventance like they can have where they won't get attacked, like any kind of like defenses?
They will have 3 days of immortality. 72 hours where no other player can do harm, they can only help them.
The armored vaults.
So that way, you can't have this one guy in the area just looking for players to switch lobbies every season and then just blow up the newer ones and steal that and, just make a massive planet to overtake a new region. Newer players will have 3 days of invulnerability to where nothing can kill their player. Well, outside of, NPCs or something like that. And then nothing can also hurt their planet unless they do something really bad and dumb and, their planet catches a disease or a virus. So, there's going to be a lot of different factors in that, but players will not be able to harm another player's planet for the first 3 days of its creation.
The data mass. Grab it.
Okay.
Good.
I feel like that'll
And it
also...
sounds like you said that you can get like diseases on the planet.
Yeah, like you'll get different planetary resources, like you can make, so let's
If they
say,
destroy the console, we'll never get the vault open.
let's say the player who attacks my world has a really huge forested planet. I'm gonna get 10% of their planet. So if their entire planet is nothing but forest area, chances are I'm probably gonna get a bunch of seeds, like a lot of seeds. So it's gonna help me grow out my forest a little bit more, it's gonna help me grow out some wilderness. Maybe some different colored grass, or grass that has a different medical usage. Maybe even discover a new plant that might, cure any kind of virus or illness that my people themselves might be getting. pointers, anything like that, any kind of medical remedies, stuff like that.
So this is the medical unit. It's gonna be like one of the trade things.
Well,
Like you can be able to trade from different planets.
well, not so much really trade, but if a planet, let's say you come over to my planet real quick, I have the ability to give you what's called picking rights. So when you're on my planet and you set foot on my planet and you have picking rights, you're put into passive mode, which means that you can't fly. So you're completely at the mercy of myself and the other inhabitants of my planet. So if you try to do something stupid like blow it up or anything like that, me and my people have the big advantage of flight and, you know, millions versus you on the ground. So when you're on my planet ground, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to fish, you're going to be able to, you know, surf, you're going to be able to do different types of activities, you're going to be able to go out into my woods and, you know, pick up trees and, you know, look for flowers and berries and stuff. You know, just look for stuff like that. If I choose not to give you picking rights, though, you can try to force those by having my inhabitants either accept you or, you know, showing up and me just not being home.
Oh, so I didn't have this come to your planet and try to screw around.
We're in.
But you would know.
Yes, you would get a little, you would get an alert that a planet, that somebody's flying through your ozone layer. So that way you always know that somebody's nearby. So the big problem is if you're really, really far away from your planet and not paying attention, and you get that message and you just don't pay it any mind, there could be a potential chance that, you know, a player could just erase your planet while you're gone. So you kind of want to be careful and make sure you're growing your planet as much as possible without being gone for it for too long for fear of other players. But there will also be peaceful downtimes on servers, which will be, you know, at noon and at midnight for about an hour each time. So that way players can't engage, and, you know, if you want to go and hang out at your friend's planet or, you know, just have a little raid party somewhere, just goof off and have fun, you can do that as well. Without having to fear, you know, somebody flying near your planet and blowing it up. How am I? Wow.
This sounds like very interesting. You saying that you can have parties and roam around, so it's more than a free to play RPG strategist type game. But
We're trying to make it. Go ahead.
But how would somebody like be online? Like you said, the servers are not like 8 to 10 hours. Like it's not 24/7. Like Warframe or Overwatch or Fortnite, where you can play all night and all day. Like would somebody have to oversee it?
Well, that's what the different
you have,
universal
like,
gods would be
models.
for. The universal gods of that area would kind of pick and choose what's going on, and they would submit tickets that, you know, the actual owners and creators of the game would oversee and look at. So let's say you're a god of a universe and you've seen this guy take out, you know, 10 planets just because, for no real reason other than his own planet growth, and, you know, he's just doing it over and over again. He's just letting those players respawn their new planets and just keeps on blowing them up. Or he just keeps on aiming at this one guy, and you just see him killing this one guy repetitively. Now, as that's not necessarily an offense, it would be kind of bad, because if there's nothing you can do about it, then we might put him as, you know, a non-combatant for, you know, 30 minutes or maybe an hour or so, just so that way, you know, the new player can either get set up or, you know, get out of the way of it or just run away or something like that. But ideally, most of the server fault goes to, you know, the god of that specific universe. Think of it more kind of like a clan. The person who owns that clan is kind of in charge, for the most part, how that area works. Now, is that always the best? Absolutely not. Which is why it's very easy for other players to, you know, team up and take down that proverbial god if they choose to. That is something that they can do if they want.
Take that supply beacon, and I will call in the drop.
Really? So ideally, if, let's say a bunch of players were having a hard time, and there's this one guy who, you know, has been, you know, just completely destroying everything for no reason at all. Isn't trying to help anybody. He's only there to benefit himself. He doesn't want to be a part of anything else. He just wants to blow everything to smithereens. He's just a griefer. He has no interest in growing anything at all. He's just there to blow stuff up. Now, as it's technically not a game rule that you can't do that, it would be an annoying habit for players to establish, so we would, you know, recommend, you know, the gods take care of that. And if they don't, well, then the other players can take it in their hands and say, hey, you won't take care of this, so we will. They'll challenge you, they'll fight you. You know, chances are 50 players versus 1, you know, those 50 players are going to win.
The enemy can't wage war without supplies.
So you'll be stripped and a new god will be formed, and then they'll decide what happens. So yes, but now, like I said though, the gods will be a little extra strong, as a normal player upon level up will only get 1 skill point per. A god will get 2 or 3. So they'll be worth about 2 or 3 players. So at a level 17, let's say you're 17 and I'm 17, in hindsight, I'd be more of like a level 41 versus you being, wait, 7, 15. Yeah, that math is way off. Hold on. 7, 14, 21, 21, 15, 15, 15. Yeah, no, that, wait, 17 times 3. There's no way that's actually 70 something, is it? No, what the hell am I talking about? No, that's 51. I'm going crazy. Leave me alone, I'm tired. But you know, so as I would be, as you'd be 17, I would be more like a 51. I would have a lot more powers unlocked. I would have a lot more abilities unlocked. My health and shield would be much, well, not shield, but my health and armor and defense or whatever I choose to throw in there would be much higher. So even though we could be the exact same level, there would be a very large and noticeable power gap.
Okay.
You'd also get like special clothing and stuff like that to show that, you know, you were a god once. You know, you'll get to keep the clothing and stuff like that no matter how many times you die. Now, your skill points, though, will be refunded if you lose your godhood. Like I said, you do get to keep your skill points if you die. However, if you die as a god to another player, your skill points will be, you know, deducted by 66%. So that way you'll be as strong as a natural player. You won't be as strong as, you know, this ridiculously overpowered god. Now, there will be what I'm going to be calling, you know, angelic reincarnation. So let's say you're at the max level. Let's say we choose to make the max level 50, okay?
The Grineer are holding a key piece
now,
of strategic territory.
You can choose to go to your planet's core and rebirth yourself and your planet, which means you'll be back to level 0, but you'll have your 50 skill points. So you'll be just as strong as you were, but now you can get even stronger. And as an added bonus, you'll also unlock a special ability for your planet. You'll have a planetary defender, so you can shape and create your own pet of some kind. You can pick between like dragons, phoenixes, you know, serpents, you know, a dog, cat, I don't care, unicorn, whatever. And it'll be a massive celestial sized being of that. So when another player comes, you know, close to your planet and they try to do any kind of damage to it, this being will wake up, and now this is going to be your planet's defense, along with your planet's civilization. And this new celestial being will also help your planet grow and fight off viruses and other stuff like that. But it won't care for the civilization of the people, it will care about the planet. So if it feels like the people are destroying the planet, it will eat the people.
You captured the location. Do not let them retake it.
Would that be like any classification something to stop that?
I mean, no.
Would it be like a warning?
Well, I mean, you have to think about it like this. The celestial being that you're gonna pick its personality and stuff like that, and you're gonna kind of pick what you want it to defend against. So if it feels like your people are gonna kill your planet, which, if you remember, is the entire source of your power. So if your planet dies, you're not worth anything, pretty much. You'll have your powers and all that, but your abilities and stuff like that will be cut into like 10% of what they would normally be. So you can survive without your planet, absolutely, but you only have 10% of your maximum strength. So it's not really smart to try to live without your planet. it's pretty smart to try to remake your planet as quickly as possible. So this celestial being is to present, to prevent any kind of destruction to your planet. So if it feels like, the people on your planet are having a war and, the planet might come to an end, it will kill the people on it however it has to. Whether it itself goes out and eats it or causes hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, lava, whatever it needs to do to kill them, it will take care of the population that it feels is the biggest problem. Now, that's not saying it's going to completely destroy your whole planet's population, but if it feels like this civilization on, the southwest side of your planet is causing problems, it's going to kill them and try to save as many as it can.
It's like a guardian. You have a guardian watching over the planet.
Essentially, yes.
Make sure nothing happens to the planet.
There are 2 men here. They've retaken the location.
Let's say
this mission is over. Find safety.
Like the rules, whatever the rules are broken, like what are the punishments?
What do you mean?
If somebody messes with the planet, like you said that you would get stripped. Like a guy would get stripped from like 10, probably 10% of whatever they had, like their skill base. It's been like, stripped. Okay. What if he had like a contingency plan where he was helping out another planet, and that planet had like benefits made where his skill points wouldn't get taken as much?
It doesn't so much work like that. The skill points more so go for the player, not exactly the planets.
Oh, okay. So it just goes for the player, not the planet. Like when you make a planet and make it strong, like what kind of like main benefits did you get from it?
Well, I mean, your planet itself is kind of. I put my controller down and started shooting the ground. I'm amazing at this game. No, so the bigger your planet is and the more it can grow, is how much your person itself can grow. So let's say at a normal rate, my planet is 100%. So I have 100% of my maximum power, okay? Make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's say I go out and I destroy your planet, and I succeed in that. I'm gonna get 10% size growth. So my attributes are gonna go up by 10%. So if I have 100 health, naturally, now I'm gonna have 110%. My strength is gonna go up by 10%, my speed's gonna go up by 10%, my defense is gonna go up by 10%, etc.
Oh, okay. So you get like a small percentage for each planet you like
each other planet, yes. Every time you destroy a player's planet, you will get a small 10% boost on your own stats, your own planet, everything like that. However, let's say it's me and you, and we're best friends. I want to keep on destroying your planet so I can get super strong and try to challenge the god. Okay? That's not gonna happen.
Find it and hack it.
Because you cannot kill the same player's planet 2 times in a row. So I'd have to blow up yours, and then 2 other players, and then I can go back to yours. So that way people can't just make like a secondary account, drop it in the same server, put an open lock on that planet so that way it can always be there no matter what, and then just have me go and blow it up and just relog it. Make sense?
Oh, okay.
So what else you got for me?
You said if, let's say, if a group of your players that you trust, okay, they feel like they want to take over your rule, okay.
They're sending another wave to take out.
Okay.
Stay vigilant.
A contingency plan that you have where they can't take it, or if let's say they find a way, one of your weaknesses.
What do you mean?
Like, what if they find one, like, a way, like, some kind of resource that you might need from your planet, and they find out that you don't have, like, enough of it, and they was getting it from another planet, to help out your planet, but they was benefit for themselves.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a way for
More
them
Rainier
to
inbound. Don't let them harm the drone.
mobilize that to take over your planet?
So what you're
Well,
basically
okay.
asking is, let's say I'm looking for something like oil, and my planet doesn't have an abundance of that,
I will begin
but I know that this
with
planet over here does, so I
systems
start making a deal with them and borrowing that, but now you're getting in the way and you're preventing me from getting that. So now, since I have no oil, I can't manufacture, you know, mechanical weapons and stuff like that, which puts my planet's, you know, funding kind of on a hold for the most part for that, which weakens my defenses. Is that kind of what you're asking?
Yes.
I mean, I guess ideally you can do that, but that would take a lot of research and a lot of time on your end to do that. I mean, you can do that. That's definitely not a thing that you can't. But ideally, if you want to go blow up somebody's planet, you can either wait for them to come home and just blow it up in front of their face and be that guy, or you can just kind of wait till they're gone and you know they're gone and you know they haven't been there in about 5 or so minutes. Charge up a massive energy ball of whatever element you want and just slingshot it at that planet and do as much damage as quickly as you can, destroying as many civilizations and just moving through and just trying to take it out. So I mean, there is the option of just stopping a supply run and just making the entire planet, you know, die from dehydration and just its own self-destruction. That's fine. But it's much easier just to hurl a massive ball of ice at it and just call it a day. That would actually really suck. Having a massive ball of ice being thrown at your planet. Just throwing your entire civilization into the Ice Age. Oh, that would be terrible. Just getting cold shouldered on. Oh, that'd be terrible. So let's talk a little bit more about the weapons, because I did mention them, but we haven't really talked about them yet.
Oh yeah, the weapons.
So like I said, your character themselves will be able to make, you know, their own unique weapons, from swords to guns to anything in the middle. Hell, if you want, I'll even try to manufacture a slingshot, so your guy can just charge up a little marble and just shoot it through a slingshot. I think that'd be kind of cool. So your character can choose whether or not they want to be hand-to-hand, or, you know, enraged in a certain type of weapon. That's completely on them. Those will be different skill points depending on, you know, how proficient they want to be with that, though. Make sense?
Yeah.
Now, you create and manufacture your own weapon based on your planet's resources. You can outsource for them if you want, yes, but ideally you're gonna probably start with your own planet's resources. So if all your planet is just a ball of, you know, wood and water, but you want something like an energy-based assault rifle where you can charge up your ability and just shoot it through it, probably not gonna happen.
If you choose to take this mission, proceed
Now, if
to
you
the
choose to
left
wait
and take out as many
and
Grenier
become
as you
proficient in how to make that kind of material, or you just go to another planet and just outsource it from there, then you can get the resources and do that. However, your weapon will decay with time unless you've rebirthed. Once you do an angelic rebirth, you can place a mark on your weapon that signifies you yourself. Players can never take your weapon, and your weapon becomes invincible. Anytime you die and respawn, you know, you will always have your weapon with you. Your weapon becomes a part of you at that point.
Okay, with the weapons, okay. Now, let's say you have a crossbow and assault rifle. Can you use both of them at the same time, or you can use one of them for that specific time because of the materials that you have, or can it be one for that specific player, like to your skill set? Like, is it, you know, for just that one specific skill set?
All right, well, let's use your crossbow and assault rifle, okay? If you choose to become proficient with a crossbow or an assault rifle, you can. But if you want them both to be immortal, you have to rebirth 2 times. So let's say the first time you rebirth, you put it on your assault rifle. Okay, you have your symbol on your assault rifle. It's always going to be yours now. It's never going to go anywhere. But your crossbow will still break. Now, when you rebirth the second time, you can place it on your crossbow if you want. Now, the way that works, though, is if you want to become proficient with both, then you're gonna have to learn through the skill tree. You can use any weapon you want that you can
I still
create.
need you to disrupt his
However,
troops.
you must be
Waypoint
proficient
needed
with
help.
it in order to use it. And that goes into the skill tree.
That means you have to level up that specific weapon.
Well, the weapon itself won't really have much of a level. You can just make it out of different parts, mechanical stuff like that. So let's say I start off with like just, I don't know, an aluminum sword. Later on as my planet grows and we discover something like steel,
The
I can
enemy has
remake
moved
my
out.
sword
We've missed our opportunity
into,
for
you
now.
know, that. I can remake my sword into steel. So now my sword itself is going to be much stronger. And then if I have, like, let's say an ability that lets me channel electricity through my weapon, or channel a fiery coat on my weapon, or an icy tip, or something like that, my weapon will get even stronger. So my abilities and my skills highly differ how my weapon will, you know, react.
Okay. That sounds real good. I'm wondering, let's say I have a fully upgraded weapon that's been rebirthed.
Okay.
And let's say it has got destroyed like more than a couple of times. And you
Okay.
said that you completely get it back like the first time.
Well, here's
There's
the way that it
no-
works, okay? So let's say
There's no way they can like completely destroy it, right?
no, absolutely not. Once you rebirth,
Okay.
your weapon becomes what's going to be called an angelic arm, which means if you die, all your loot stays where your body was, okay? However, when you rebirth, whenever you bring your character back to life, oh man, sorry about that. You're going to be able to auto summon your weapon from wherever it is back to your side immediately. So let's say you rebirth 2 times, okay? Let's say I have the same sword both times. If I rebirth the first time, I'll make my weapon invincible and its stats will increase a little bit. If I rebirth the second time and place the other part of that symbol on the weapon, my weapon stats will become even better and I can place any kind of element I want on it whenever I want without the need of a skill. And I can change that as I wish. So I can change the element on it as I wish every time I go back to my planet. Make sense a little bit?
That makes sense.
Okay. So, what else you got for me?
Okay. But the planet, okay, you said there's small planets and huge planets. In between those planets, let's say, I don't know, you have like a solar system set up. Like, you know, the sun,
Well, when a planet,
the moon.
well, when a new player spawns in, they're gonna be able to pick and choose where they want their planet to be. They're gonna see, like, you know, kind of where everything else is first. They're gonna get a map of it, and they're just gonna be able to kind of throw their planet right there in the middle, or just wherever they want. So they'll be able to look at it. We're gonna have a massive sun or a massive planet in the middle that's radiating out a constant aura, and that's gonna be where the God and Angel's planet are.
Okay. So, okay, let's say I'm a new player.
Okay.
And I put my planet in the middle of nowhere.
All right.
I know the other player's gonna see the planet. I know that. So let's say I start, I don't know, my first creation. Alright. With my first creation, is there any way with the seed I have? Okay. Is there any way the other people can like copy that seed where there's no control I can do anything about it? Because I'm completely new player. Like I know, like I completely keep the seed.
Well, I mean, if
There's no way they can get like the information from that seed because it's my specific seed for that planet.
Well, I mean, the idea to it is it's going to be how you want to build it. Like, if I were to build a planet, what I would want is, I would want my entire planet to be flooded, and then underneath that massive ocean be thousands upon thousands upon thousands of trees with all interlocking branches holding the water above. And just a bunch of little leaves and stuff like that dripping down. So I'd have a massive foresty area underneath the ocean itself. Now, if a player sees that idea and he's like, wow, you know, that's actually pretty amazing, and he goes and he wants to try to build his planet like that, he most certainly can. But if I choose that, you know, I want to be the one and only, of course I can hurl a massive, you know, ball of electricity or flame or something like that at it and blow up his planet.
Oh, okay.
I can see that being a big thing with Planet Wars is, oh, you stole my volcano idea, you douche! And then somebody blowing up somebody's planet over a volcano. I can already see that being an issue, but that'll be amazing. I don't care. That ticket will be great. Hey man, I'm supporting this ticket because this guy over here named Chaz, yeah, he stole my volcano idea. I made it square, and then the next day I saw him make his square, so I blew up his planet. Don't let this guy make a new planet. He's a jerk face. He smells like toe fungus. I can already see that being a ticket. I promise. I swear to God, that would be amazing. Oh,
okay,
man.
back to the weapons. Okay.
Okay.
Now, let's say somebody attacked the planet.
Okay.
Right? What kind of like defense weapons do you have? And
That's completely based on your civilization and your people.
so it's based on the civilization.
Yes, so if you interact with your people a lot and you show them that, you know, you have powers and you're not exactly the same as they are, that you're their creator, you know, they can kind of look at your powers, see what you have, and kind of base weaponry and stuff like that based on similar weapons and abilities that you have. And they can kind of learn and adapt to that and try to build defenses for other beings like you. So if, you know, if my powers are all electrical, like I said, and my civilization has enough time to learn my abilities well enough, they'll probably build up a debuff for my electricity, which means that if another player tries to come, and they're an electrical being as well, and they try to take over my planet, they might have a really hard time versus somebody who, you know, uses, like, ice.
That's it. The target
So-
for a fight made it their lives.
Yeah, so
like resources.
Yeah. So you as a player yourself will have a massive role in deciding how your planet grows and what kind of defenses they have based on, you know, honestly what you choose skill-wise, and if you choose to interact with your planet's people or not.
Okay. And there's no way. Okay, let's say somebody they have like electric weapons.
Well, I mean,
Electric weapons.
Plus, let's not write off the fact that if you rebirth yourself, your planet gets that massive, you know, celestial being in the belly of its planet. So if that thing senses something, it might not take too kindly to you hurling a massive ball of some element at it. It might not appreciate that as much as, you know, anybody else.
Oh, okay.
It's like if I shot an RPG at your house, you probably wouldn't be too happy with me.
Nah.
Right. I might be on your shit list then.
Oh man, yeah.
He's just
Yeah,
thinking about
that's about it.
He's just thinking about it now, like, if this motherfucker tried to shoot an RPG at my house, especially when I'm in the shower, I'm fighting him. I don't care. Square up.
Oh man. Well, that should be way. Since you said prevent that because the Guardian.
Yeah, the Celestial plus with your planet's defenses as well. Now your planet, your people will also learn off your Celestial as well, so that could also be a massive role in how your people adapt and what they learn and how they kind of pick and choose what they want to do. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now you can also take that as an advantage to learn a lot more as well. So like I said, if your main focus is electricity and electricity and fire, what do you think you're going to be mostly defended for? Electricity and fire, right?
Yeah.
So now if you pick an ice celestial and you teach it a little bit of earth as well, now your people can learn how to defend themselves against ice and, you know, earth as well as electrical and flame. Make sense?
Oh, okay.
So the more interactions your world has with different players could be great for them, as well as very harmful for them as well. Because, like I said,
what's the harmful? Like, what happens if you get too much information that you might not need? Like you go over.
Well, I mean, think about it this way, okay? If one day your planet's people, have learned all there is to learn, that's amazing. But then if you go in, let's say, chat, and you brag about it, like, oh yeah, my people have mastered all the elements, defenses is gonna be great. Some player might want to challenge that. They might want to give your planet an unnecessary hug with a big, ball of energy. They might try to challenge that one. So, I mean, that goes back on the player, though, not so much the planet, but more so, just the player. So, another thing is, if your planet learns everything and your people learn everything, that could be great, but they could also get very, very, very overcompensating, and maybe even try to take over you.
Oh, okay.
So you got to be prepared to, eventually the day may come when you need to put your planet back in order. Because if you're a very peaceful and nice ruler to them, they may never think that you're worth anything unless you teach them a thing or two. The old brute, 1970s mama kind of way. Pick up a flip-flop, beat the hell out of the kid. So, learning a lot of information could be very great for your planet, but it could also be harmful because your planet, if you're a very, very peaceful person, may try to turn on you in order to get more information, or just because they feel like they can.
Okay.
Just one cache remaining.
You ain't really gonna let me find all three of these, are you?
Oh, crap. Let me look. I'm looking around.
Yeah, okay, buddy. Whatever you
Yeah,
say,
I was
man.
over there. Because I was about to ask you, since the planet has all the information, like other planets can see it? Like there's some kind of like indicator that shows like the different resources and different information that you have?
Well, I mean,
on the planet?
You'll have like a little logbook that kind of keeps you up to date with what your planet has learned for like the highest minerals and stuff like that, and how well they can produce them, whether they're like fully knowledged in it or just a little bit. So you yourself will have that knowledge, but other players themselves will not know unless you tell them. So it'll be a very big thing with kind of making pacts and letting other players know what you have, and kind of maybe striking deals if you feel like they have a better resource than you in this area over here or something like that. Where's this last cache at?
Yeah, I got my scanner out now. I don't see it just yet. It might be behind the tree.
I have no idea. There's like 2 Durgans in front of me apparently though. I just walked up and stopped behind a bush. I'm like, oh wait, what? That was like treasure on my map.
Yeah, I keep picking up those red things. I think is not what they call.
Iridite.
You said what?
You mean iridite?
Oh yeah, Airlight, yeah. Oh, here it is. I found it. I heard some noise right here in the corner.
I searched it like 3 times. What the hell? Oh wow.
And then we gave up there at night just now.
Nice. But another big thing is you want to try to go as strong as you can, because once every other month I'll probably host a massive tournament in the game where you can face it'll be like a massive server war, and whichever server has the most victories under losses will win a massive prize for their entire area.
Okay.
Haven't quite decided what that is yet, But, you know, it could be something amazing. You might just get, like, you know, a bunch of free planet level ups, or, you know, maybe even an addition of, like, some kind of moon or something like that, or, you know, just something amazing.
Alright, sounds good.
So, I haven't quite decided what the reward for that will be yet, though. But I know that you'll be able to get, like, celestial armor and stuff like that. That'll help debuff against other, like, types of elemental effects whenever the Leviathan event comes out. And there'll be a massive Leviathan that'll rip in the side of the universe. And all the players will try to take it down, including the god. And if you succeed, all the players will get, like, certain bits and pieces of the clothing. You know, it's randomly generated. And then players can trade with other players in that, you know, area for, you know, the rest of that clothing article or just whatever.
They get to keep these clothes, right?
Absolutely.
Let's say
even
they
if
plan to get destroyed
even if they change
after the event, or they change, yeah, if they change the server or they plan to get destroyed, they get to keep those clothes, right?
well,
They
the
don't like.
the clothes I'm not too sure on, only because I don't know if you really want your clothes back, go kill the guy who killed you.
Oh, okay.
It's honestly not too difficult to do. Like I said, even if you're a fresh spawn, you still get all the skill points you just had. You just no longer get your level, and you also won't be able to get a skill point again until you get back to where you were. So let's say you died at level 34. You're not going to be able to start getting skill points again until you re-hit level 34 on your new character.
Oh, okay.
So you're still going to be almost as strong as you were. So, I mean, if you and this guy were level 34 and he just barely beat you, maybe this time try sneaking up behind him and, you know, hitting him with a sneak attack. Take out that little extra health that you know, he barely won by last game, and, you know, get your little clothing back.
Oh, okay. Now, how is these like skills based on? That's because you said, like, say he didn't sneak up that first time, and then maybe the second time he sneaked up. Does that increase that specific like skill point, like, and how the skill set up?
Okay, so let's think about it like this, okay?
Find it and
Okay.
hack it.
Let's think of it in terms of like an RPG. When you level up, you get a single, you know, whatever they call in that game, skill point, you know, mana break, whatever. And you can increase your health, your strength, your defense, whatever by that, right?
Yeah.
Now you choose where you spend that. Now you can reset your skill points once a week by your choice. Well, actually, I'll probably make it once a month to prevent
This
spam.
mission is a failure.
But and you can get all your points back, and you can respend them however you want. Now, the big thing with doing that, though, is, let's say I kill you, and the only reason I lost is because I just couldn't keep up with your speed. Perhaps this time when I build my new character, I might want to add a little bit more speed, so that way you can't get that heavy advantage on me, and I might be able to keep up a little bit better. Make sense?
Yes.
So whenever your character dies, you still get your skill points that you had, but now you can just spin them in different ways to try to give yourself an edge against this person.
Oh, okay. Is there any way, let's say, I can get like a permanent type of specific skill set? Like a permanent like point for a specific skill when I get like reborn? Is there any way like I can keep that specific skill even if I die and reset?
Well, you don't lose the, like, abilities that you've unlocked. Like, okay, so I think you're confusing yourself. Okay, so are you asking me if, like, let's say I kill you and you unlocked a bunch of electrical magic. Are you asking me if you die, if those reset?
Yeah, I'm asking if they reset. Like, do you have to like redo those all over again?
No. You keep the abilities you've unlocked. It's just your skill points that reset.
Oh, okay. And is this like a max total?
No, you can, technically speaking, you can unlock every ability in the game, but like I said, you can only have 8 equipped at a time.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna have 8 tools at a time. So you're gonna have like, say you have like 4 different electricity abilities and 4 different like fire abilities. You're gonna keep those at a certain time.
Yeah.
What you saying?
So let's say in that game mode, R2 is to bring up your trigger for your, you know, first 4 abilities, and then L2 is your trigger to bring up your second set of abilities. So you'll be able to load both those stacks with that, and then you can fight that way, while in unison of using, you know, circle or square or triangle or whatever as your basic attacks. So let's say circle is your kick, okay? So I'm gonna hit circle whenever I'm really close to you, and I'm gonna keep on kicking you as much as I can, and hit triangle, and maybe even pull out my weapon and try to hit you with that, or maybe taunt you into it, and then hit R2 and circle and shoot a massive, you know, high-speed lightning bolt straight through your chest, and dealing a decent amount of damage to you. So you're gonna have your 8 skills that you're always gonna have out and ready to go, along with your normal attacks, your parries, and stuff like that.
Okay. You got the skills and switching like old power skills, like your heavy attacks and low attacks. With those each skills. Okay. That's about it all then. That's like a really good game to me. Really good game.
I mean, hope so. I gotta get it all set up. I gotta buy a really big, nice, fancy, pretty computer. Start doing digital editing. Start getting models made out. I got a lot of work to do. This probably won't be released for like the next, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. Especially if I don't get a team, or if I do get a team and, you know, they're nah. So I'll have to really work on it, but, you know, if all comes to plan, I mean, this could potentially be an amazing game. With a lot of work behind it and a lot of planning and stuff, you know, this could be great.
Yeah, that sounds a really amazing game.
It's just gonna take a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta find the artists and stuff. Cause I don't know if you have like a concept how you want them to look. Or you want to pick like a group of artists that you may think is tell them to send you like a portfolio, see how they draw or visual stuff. It's like go from there.
Enemy target eliminated. Good work.
Or then you have to find like the different like people over the servers and how much that's gonna be.
Yeah.
But I already know right now, like with the internet, they got the new like AT&T fiber and Google fiber now.
I have no idea.
So like, oh, you have no idea about that?
Yeah, I remember. I'm still using my hotspot.
Oh, you still use your hotspot?
Of course, it's cheap, it's easy. Why not?
Yeah,
So you got any other questions for me about the game?
Oh, that's about it.
That's about it. Alrighty, cool. So, what do you think a name for this game should be?
Oh.
Yeah, that's where I am now. Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, maybe we'll talk about that next time. Alright, guys. So, hey, check it out. Me and Dirty are done. We've had an amazing time today. I honestly have no idea how many times we've completed a mission or failed one either. We just haven't been paying attention on, so we've just been in here goofing off. Easiest place to come and talk. So if you guys have any questions, or if you guys have any ideas, or if you guys have a name for the game, because I think that's what we need the most right now, huh, Dirty?
Yeah, you need a name for Dirty.
So excuse me, sir. What is the?
Nah.
So what is the name for the game presentation you're doing today? I have no idea. Get the fuck out of my. But if you guys have any ideas or any kind of concept art or anything like that that you guys would like to submit, or, you know, kind of give any kind of insight on, you know, I would more than happily listen to it. I would more than happily review it with you. And, you know, if it's an amazing idea, it might make it in the game, which means that, you know, you might get compensated for it. So let me know what you guys think below. Let me know what you want Dirty South to help me with next time, because I'm gonna start bringing Dirty South in here a lot more to talk about this game recently. I'm gonna see if next time I can't get some images up for you guys, maybe even, you know, a few ideas here and there, maybe some weapons or ability trees, and we'll see what we can do, guys. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you guys have an amazing night, whatever time it is in your time zone. And yeah, that's it from me, Dirty. You have anything to add to that?
I don't know. That's about it.
No? Alright, fuck off. I got you. No problem at all. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys next time. Peace, peace.